The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 296. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is an actress, a producer, and also a mom, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Brittany Ishibashi. Brittany, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm an actress. I've been an actress my whole life. Recently started professionally, I guess, adding producing and writing to that. Also, recently added mom to that as well, I guess. It's been an adventure balancing all of them, but I know all three have been incredibly rewarding in their own ways.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I've actually seen you in a movie before. It's pretty cool to have you on the interview. So I'm really grateful to have you on. And I know you recently just did like Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah, we finished, which was so cool because I was such a huge fan growing up, and to be able to play in like that comic book world was like a dream come true. And we shot all over Manhattan, so it was nice to kind of finally see it all put together and come to life on screen.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty cool that you're able to be in a big movie like that, and I'm sure it was a fun experience. And Brittany, what's your cultural background?
I am fourth generation Japanese American. I grew up in Orange County. It's funny. I recently, I don't know why this only happened just recently, put together that my name is truly a reflection of my cultural identity. I feel like Brittany Ishibashi is like, I can never change my name. I feel like growing up in Orange County, all my friends were Ashley and Lacey and Kelly, and I was Brittany, and I felt so Orange County. And, but then I was Ishibashi. It's such a strong Japanese name, and it's always been a balance of the two. And there are times where I've definitely felt more of the OC creep forward, or times where I wanted to prioritize that, and then the same where it's been true for the other side.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Brittany. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote. So, interesting little tidbit. So my father, when we were growing up, did a lot of motivational speaking. And so we were around a lot of like inspirational people and quotes constantly. But the one that's always stuck out is one that he always said to us, as long as I can remember, which was, the purpose of life is to live your purpose. And as I've just matured, or as I've grown up, it's taken on different meanings, but it's always been something very significant to me. Because I feel like that's something you're always discovering too and reevaluating. And the importance of it being, that there is only one of you here in this world. And so the whole purpose of life being to discover what that is and honor that and find a community that can help you, help that grow.
I love that quote, and it's so true. When we can find out what our purpose is, and sometimes it might take a while. I mean, your confidence grows because you know what you're doing. You're so clear that you're willing to do whatever it takes, even if you fall down 100 times. You're just going to keep on getting back up and keep doing it. So, I love that.
Exactly, you have to, yeah.
Yeah. So, I love that quote that you mentioned. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I think self-confidence is really about listening to yourself and being respectful of where you are at any given moment, because it will always change. And if you are flexible and accepting of that, then I think you'll be more trusting in the universe and in yourself, and that everything is going to be okay. And that will just give you the presence and the ability to move in this life in a strong way. I think it's when we're unsure or we're fearful or we doubt ourselves that things start to go awry.
Thanks for that definition. And I think, growing up as an Asian woman, it's so challenging for us to listen to ourselves since we've been pretty much told to, follow what everyone else tells us to do. So, I mean, I think that's a great definition, a great reminder to know that, we can trust ourselves to do, to take action out there to do what we want to do. So, I like that definition that you mentioned.
And it's not always easy, but it's important.
Yeah, totally. I know there's been days it's like, oh my God. But exactly, I mean, this is part of the process. So, I love what you mentioned. And What was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I feel like it's a constant discovery. I feel like I'm constantly finding new colors of that. But I guess in its most like significant sense, like growing up, I did put a lot of expectations on myself. There were just so many self-imposed rules and ideas of what I should or I shouldn't be doing and how it should be done and if it was perfect. And these were all things that I was just, manifesting because I had this idea that I needed to be this perfect thing. And obviously no one has any one idea what that is. And so once I kind of released that notion and began to trust that I'm exactly where I need to be, that it's okay to screw up because, what is that anyway? That's when I became a lot happier, for sure, more present, less stressed out. And again, it's a constant discovery. There are, I guess, better days than others, or days where I feel like I can take over the world, or that everything is going in my direction, and days where I feel like things are kind of like unraveling, but always coming back to that place of, just kind of taking a deep breath and being like, okay, well, you're here now. This is what's happening. And yeah, just kind of like just being respectful of that and of yourself.
Thanks for sharing that, Brittany. And I think that's something we all go through, right? Having that perfect syndrome, and we don't do what we're supposed to do or what we should do. We tend to, kind of like punish ourselves for no apparent reason. And I think that's something we all go through and we all can relate to. And was there like one specific moment in your life when you realized like, you were more than enough? It didn't matter, if you were the perfect person or not. I mean, you can just be you and just do the things that you wanted to do. What was that aha moment?
Well, I think that happens a lot, especially in this industry, in the entertainment industry. There are so many, you never quite know why you might not get a part. And it comes down to this, you could be you could be the best actor for the role. You could be, everything could be falling into place, and this could be a role that was made specifically for you, but there are so many factors and other people that are involved making this decision. You kind of have to just release that it's not personal, and that you can only bring, let me rephrase that I can only bring how I see the character into the room. That's all I have control over. Is how much I prepare, is my attitude going in and when I'm in the room and when I leave. And I think that's why I feel like I'm constantly having these wonderful aha moments. For me, it's like the quiet time afterwards when I have this like, my whole body just feels happy because I'm like, you know what? I did everything that I could and the rest is out of my hands. And that for me also is what I love so much about this career path, is everyone is going to do something so different and so specific to themselves. No one else is going to do it quite the same way. And they're going to choose whoever they choose. But, one of my favorite acting teachers told me once, he says, it's a noble profession what we do as artists. And when you go into these rooms, you basically have to come from the mindset of like, I give you this gift, and you come in and you share. And I've kind of tried to carry that through the rest of my life. Acting things aside, is when you encounter new people or new situations, all we can do, like, it all really just comes down, it's going to sound so hippy dippy maybe, but it all just comes down to love. And that's all we can do. And as long as you can just be in any situation and be present and say, I'm here to give and be available, I think you learn a lot more, and you're also a lot more pleased and content as you go through life.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love what you mentioned that, you realize that it's not personal, because, a lot of us, we take things so personal to the point where, something so small becomes something so big. And when we can realize like, everything we do in life is not personal, and there are things that we can't control, I mean, life becomes so much lighter. I mean,
yeah,
because of that.
Once you release. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because of that, I mean, what's your life been like now?
It's hard. It's great. I mean, there are days that I feel more present than others. There are days that I feel more positive than others. But I think letting myself know that is okay and that is expected and that is life has made my life a lot more peaceful. And I've recently started doing a lot of meditation, and that's helped a lot too, especially with the journey of motherhood, because balancing, being a mother to a toddler while also working Hollywood, the two they aren't very friendly to each other. And so trying to just find the moments of peace within that, and kind of, again, I keep coming back to this idea of being more respectful of where I am at any given time. Like if there's a day where my kid didn't sleep and I'm exhausted that next day and I have a bunch of meetings, I just have to kind of take a deep breath and go, life is the world is going to keep on turning. Whether I decide to stay in bed and cry, or whether I decide to just get up and just be who I am today at this given moment and do the best I can for today. And that'll be totally different tomorrow. It'll be totally different this afternoon. So I think my life after kind of, realizing all this, I've become a lot more patient with myself, which has been really nice.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Brittany. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be going through, her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
That there is only one of you on this earth, and we are only here for a specific amount of time. So do you, and whatever that looks like. And if that changes, just keep doing you. And if you have a moment, look up this quote if you haven't already heard it, but it's one of my favorites. I keep it posted up in my office, and it's a letter from Martha Graham, the dancer, to Agnes DeMille, where she basically talks about this. And she says, there's a vitality, and there is, I'm paraphrasing right now, but there is a very specific life force that is translated through you and only you into action. And because there's only one of you all of time, that expression is unique. And it's your duty to remain open and honor that and believe in yourself and keep that open, to share that with the world.
Great tip that you mentioned, and I like it, right? Just do you. I mean, it's so, there's so many people out there who feel like they have to put a mask, when they're with people or when they're out in the world, not realizing just being yourself is more than enough, and people, or the right people, will come to you and love you just for who you are. So thanks for sharing that tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Absolutely. So you can find all of my current information on all social media at Britt Ishibashi, Britt with 2 T's. And then that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then also at BrittanyIshibashi.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Brittany, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Brittany's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Brittany for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
No, thank you very much for having me.
It was an honor having you on the show. To our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.